Port Charlotte, Florida, 2022. Scott Albright. A former Los Angeles talent agent manager with a passion for VR decides to start up their own game development studio. This studio had the goal of accomplishing one of Scott's dreams since 2019, when he first discovered a passion for virtual reality, which was to create a VR game that was very similar to the popular extraction shooter Escape from Tarkove. And with the addition of new employees and a secured investment from a shutdown crypto company, Combat Waffle Studios aimed to develop their VR Tarkov game, Ghosts of Tabor, within 1 year. However, what the people didn't expect was them going from early access to the launch of a beta in the span of 11 months. In order to understand Ghosts of Tabor, we're first going to have to understand the game that inspired it. Escape from Tarkov is a military FPS that's exclusive to PC. The main premise of the game is entering into what's called a raid with several other people. You can enter alone or even with a squad. Your goal is to try and find guns and other valuables scattered around the entire map, while also attacking other players and taking their loot as well. Once you've done it, you need to go to an extraction point, where it'll then give you a countdown and you will be exfilled with all of your loot. However, where this game truly becomes hardcore is with the one life system. When you die, you will lose the items that you had in your inventory in addition to the items that you took in with you.
I'm dead, dude. I'm dead.
Because of this, the game heavily relies on a high-risk, high-reward system. And that's not even mentioning managing a food and hunger bar, which if allowed for one of the two to deplete, will make your character slowly start to die. The game itself is very complicated, and this is only a surface-level explanation. And the reason why I mentioned those mechanics were because they were the main ones that were transferred over to Ghosts of Tabor. And while the transition of game mechanics was near flawless, no one expected how rapidly Ghosts of Tabor started to grow. The first official patch for Ghosts of Tabor released on March 23rd of 2023, and on Steam alone, player counts are reaching just shy of 1,000 concurrent players. And that's not even mentioning the Ghosts of Tabor App Lab release, which allowed for players to access the game directly from the MetaQuest 2. And while there were some performance issues for the MetaQuest in the beginning, it's safe to say that in those first couple months, Ghosts of Tabor was experiencing player counts of over 1,000 players. A true example of how when you make VR games with a passion, the masses will follow. But these player counts couldn't have just originated from the fact that there was a new VR game on the market. Many VR games are released on App Lab every single day, and to have even a fraction of Ghosts of Tabor's player count would be a blessing in those developers' eyes. There had to be another reason as to why people were flocking to Ghosts of Tabor in such huge masses. And the answer to that question can be summed up in one single word: appeal. When it comes to making games on the MetaQuest platform, most game developers end up going for an appeal towards kids. This is because, whether you like it or not, most people who use the MetaQuest platform are usually under the age of 18. And for that, many adults who ended up accessing the virtual world through the MetaQuest would not be able to go a single game without getting screamed at by some 9-year-old in their mom's basement. However, Combat Waffle Studios, with their mechanics being very complicated and hard to understand, at least in the eyes of someone under the age of 18, Ghosts of Tabor naturally created a mass appeal towards the adults of virtual reality, which would allow for them, even with low player counts, to purchase DLCs and other forms of profit that would allow for the team to stay afloat. Don't get me wrong, kids under 18 can enjoy this game. Heck, I just turned 17 years old and I've still had some of my most fun in virtual reality through this game. However, being one of the first games to have an appeal towards adults on a mechanical level meant that for most of the adults stuck playing Population 1 or Gorilla Tag, their problem was solved. But many VR games that experience this level of hype usually fizzle out and die down. So I'm sure you're probably wondering where Ghosts of Tabor is currently at right now. It has been about 8 months since Ghosts of Tabor launched its first beta, and in that time, they have established 70,000 members in their Discord server, a new and emerging content creator scene on YouTube and Twitch where streamers and YouTubers come together to do videos and streams that appeal to tens of thousands if not hundreds of thousands of people. And finally, to put some icing on the cake, at the VR Awards in 2023, Ghosts of Tabor ended up taking the highly coveted Game of the Year, and also being a finalist for the VR category in the Steam Awards. So with all those accolades and achievements, it's fair to say that Ghosts of Tabor is going to be sticking around for the near future. And when it finally reaches its full release on the Steam and Meta Store, it'll probably become one of the games that will sell MetaQuest headsets for years to come. Thank you all for watching this video. If you did enjoy, then I would please highly suggest that you leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more VR video essays. Also, if you have a game, story, or topic that you want me to talk about, leave it in the comments below. But yeah, everybody, with that said, this has been Trentic, signing out.